My name is Muhammad Abdul Manan, base IT third year, and I'm going to show you and explain to you guys how to create a CRUD in PHP. And here, excuse me, so in my activity, I have to add and edit and delete features to each list. Now, I have to update the document title dynamically in header.php based on what page you are visiting. So that's my activity, and I'll be showing you guys how to do that, and I already did it. And then here I'll show you guys on my create here in my view list, which is it's only two. Let's say just even Carino gmail.com. Now, when I press that submit, it displayed the new student record successfully. Now it shows in my view list that the 43 ID 43 is just Steven Garino, the first name and last name, and then the Gmail or email. Now I can update this thing. Let's say not Garino. Let's say it's Wallo. Now it update into just Steven Wallo, and I can also delete the 43 or for 24. Let's say 24. I'll delete this thing. Now it delete. So that's how my activity. It says right here: add, edit, and delete features. So here I'll show you guys on update the document. What I mean by that is like when I go to my create student, it shows right it display the title create student, and then in my login also log in on my view list of students. Now I'll show you guys on my code. Now here my title first is echo title. So each page, let's say in my create.php, it has a title. I assign it as a title. Now when I go to the specific page like create.php, it will display the title through my header. So the purpose of this is like you don't have to create another HTML head body and change the title. That's the purpose of that. So you have to just call assign another value and then use it and display the title on your title element. Now in my header I have this include sidebar. So this is my sidebar. So as you can see, this is my sidebar. So I include it to my header. So wherever I go, it display. Now we're gonna go to update or edit. So in my edit, as you can see, first we're gonna go list. So in my list, so I add this button in my TD. So in my update, I have this edit.php, and then I create a value variables, which is update.id. So I can use that variable, and then the exact ID, student ID. Same thing with the delete. Now if you go to my where's that edit. Now what I said earlier, I use the update ID, the specific ID that I want to delete or update. So I'll assign it, I get that ID, and then assign it input ID, so that I can use this on my query, which is select all from student, where the exact student ID is the ID, which ID that you press or want to edit. And then select if it's working or if there's an error or not. So here the conditions, which is if result is false, if result is not true, which is false, and then it will display the error. Now if it's true, then student row MySQL fetch array, it will fetch array, which is all the values that in the table, has already been entered. Now you can edit it. Now it will fetch and display all the value which is here in the value, which is the student row and student first name. Now here, once you press the submit button, once you press that, these actions will go through that update.php, which is in this statement. Now if set post is submit update, then I'll get all the value that you edit or change the value, and then it will assign it another variable. So I can call this thing and assign it to the specific student first name and last name, so that I can change or update that value. So here on my query, update student, which is update student set student first name, and so on and so forth. And then in my input ID, the specific ID where student ID is input ID. And yeah, this will check if my result update is false or true. So if it's false, once been updated, it will go to the window location.href, and then yeah, check the error and then close the MySQLi. Now lastly, we have this delete. Now in my delete, which is same thing with update, I use the variable that I created and assign it, and delete that ID, the specific ID that you press in the table, and then delete from student where student ID. Let's say that you want to delete the number 2 ID, and then it will get that number 2 ID, assign it input ID, and then to display or input the input ID in this student ID table, and then check result delete if it's true or false. So if my result delete is true and then exact, it will go through the list.php and then it will be deleted, and then MySQLi close. So yeah, delete this and then it's gone. So that's how you create an CRUD on PHP, and thank you for listening and good night.